Welcome to this episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. I'm Eric.
And I'm Angie.
We are married with a ton of kids.
We have 6 kids total. He has 3 and I have 3.
My name's Hallie and I love riding horses.
I'm Lexi and I love agriculture.
My name's Carter and I love eating.
My name's Chace and I love lifting weights.
My name's Summer and I love spending my parents' money.
I'm Dane and I love baseball.
Our show is about our blended, blessed, and always a mess life. And our hope is if you find yourself in the same situation we are in, that by sharing our story, all the fun and all the mess, the challenges we are experiencing, it will give you some inspirations, laughs, and community, knowing you are not alone in this mess.
We appreciate you spending time with us. Let's dive in.
Welcome to this week's episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess, where we are joined by special visitors, the twins. Angie said last podcast she was going to try to make this happen. I was doubtful, but it did happen. We have Chace and Sommer joining us today.
Yeah, Chace started with a negotiation. What'd you say tonight before we were going to record? You get 10%.
10% equity in the company.
Because he saw it on Shark Tank.
Oh, let me tell you this real quick. True story is that we had that club car wash deal that went through February 28th. And it was like, go to clubcarwash.com/Angie and you got 50% off new members. Chase like, hey, they had a great deal at Club Car Wash. I got it. And we're like, did you use our code? He's like, no. We're like,
no one told me. No one told me you guys had a code.
They don't listen to the podcast.
She did tell me. So she did tell me that code is good now through today. Today, Sunday, is the final day it's due. It's good on March the 9th. So this is dropping March the 9th, clubcarwash.com/Angie. Last day, you can get that 50%. All right, you guys, let's take it away and talk about things people want to talk about.
Let's take it away.
So I wanted to have the twins on here. They have never been on a podcast together. They both have been on separately or with another sibling. But I thought it would be valuable. I mean, if you have to watch this video if you're going to listen to the podcast because of watching Chace and Sommer on here. They are so thrilled.
Our pretty faces.
They cannot control their excitement to be on this podcast. But I thought it would be valuable to maybe share your experience in this journey from a kid or a sibling perspective. So we have questions.
All right.
Let's so prepared.
21 questions here.
Hang on. I got to lay this out here. And earlier today, Chase and I were riding back from Jefferson City, and I was trying to lay it out for him. And I was like, bro, I need you to know at the end of the day, since Hallie's passed, you and your sister, you're the most important things in your mom's life. You're way up here. I was like, and then you got Grandma Alice somewhere in there, and I'm way down here. So when we're talking about like grand scheme of thing, you guys, you mean so much to your mom. And I know it means a lot to her to have you guys do this today because she loves helping other people that are in pain. And I think you guys could really help with that as well. So with all of that being said, I know how hard it's been on everybody in the house. You guys are younger, so you don't talk about it all the time. But what's been the hardest part about losing Hallie?
I'd say like with the oldest sibling, you have it's more of like a role model. Like with your parents, like they're just parents. I mean, you might look up like one of your parents or like both your parents is like a role model, but like with an older sibling, they set the tone because like you're going through the same stuff they went through. I think with losing that, like you don't have that person because like you could tell like Hallie anything because like you could talk to her about like our parents getting divorced or anything like that because she went through the same stuff. But like with our parents, anyone else really besides your siblings, like they don't know like what you've been through or they might know, but they haven't been through it, and that's like the big thing.
Yeah, I would say that kind of what he said. There's been multiple times where like I've needed my sister or like I needed to call her or anything, and I like can't do that. So I would say like that's the hardest part, and that it's like sad, but it's also so frustrating when you like feel like you need to call her or like you need to tell her something or you just need her. I can't like pick up the phone and call her or anything.
I've always said that you guys have lost the most. Like as a mom, I will always have this heartache, but you lost out on a forever older sister. And then I also say you don't even know what you've missed out on because you don't know the future, and having that older sister always there for you as you go through other life challenges that we're all, you always face as you're growing up, that it's hard to even know the impact that she could have had on your life. So I agree with that as far as like what's been the hardest is just not being able to have her to reach out to or just talk about shared experiences.
Yeah. True.
What is your, like, if you think about Hallie, like, what is your favorite thing about her?
I really don't know, like, off the top of my head, but I don't know, probably like she made like anything fun or like that was boring fun. Like I just like when we would go down the farm together, like, I mean, it was enjoyable hunting together. I was like, she made it fun. Like, it wasn't like you're just sitting there all day, like looking for something. Like, I looked forward to it because it was like something fun to do. Like, she made it fun. And I mean, stuff is still fun. It's not like everything's boring now, but like she was always someone you wanted to be around, that kind of stuff.
I would say, like, again, her personality, she was very fun and like bubbly, and she can make anything fun. But also, if you piss her off, like, you better not piss her off.
That's true.
Because you might not live to see the next day.
That's pretty true.
Yeah.
Or you get your skin peeled off because she loved to scratch.
Yeah.
I was pretty confident in my fighting with wrestling and everything else. But I mean, I was probably $150 and she was $110. She'd probably still kick my ass because she was just fighting.
Or she would hold you down and kick you in the balls.
Yeah, that's a core memory. I remember that.
Oh, I do too. I definitely, yeah, you did allow it. Yeah, that's pretty much, that's
deserved it.
parental abuse right there.
Right.
Yeah, so everyone don't listen to this podcast anymore.
Yeah. So this is more of a serious question for you guys to think about. Maybe you haven't thought about it, but as we have gone through this for 2 years now, what do you think this type of trauma, because it was super traumatic going through that entire several days and then every day after, what do you think this type of trauma and loss has taught you? Like, how has it shaped you, and how are you a different person now, 16 versus being 14 when it happened?
I feel like that it's taught me to, like, not take things for granted, and that, like, stuff like this can happen to anyone. Like, you think that it won't happen to you or something, and like you think, oh, it might not ever happen to me, but like it could literally happen to anybody, and you need to be like aware of that. But I think that it like forced me to like grow up faster, and I feel like it's made me more like mature and to like appreciate everything around me.
Yeah, so this is like on topic, but kind of not. In English today, we were reading this like article, and it was about a school shooting. He said it's like you don't think it can happen until it happens to you. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like the thing. Like, I didn't think something like that could happen to me because life was like perfectly fine until it did. And then, like, I said, like, the major thing it had to teach me was like what Summer said, like, don't take it for granted, because like I wish that I could go back just like for a day or just for like an hour or just for a minute, just have a conversation. But now you can't have that unless it's over an old video or something. Like, I don't know how that teaches. Like, I feel like that's the main thing it teaches me is like, don't take it for granted.
Yeah. So one of the things that we've had conversations about this even just last night, but as parents, I think I shared this with you, Chace, last night. Like, as parents, I think when you're young, you think, oh, when you're older and you're a parent, you're going to have it all figured out. Well, you don't. And every day, new experiences happen, and you try to navigate that. But then you throw on top of all of that, as parents, like losing a child, and it changes everybody. It's changed me. It's changed how I look at life. I have new fears I didn't think that I would ever have. But I also think there's a lot of parents that listen to this podcast that have lost kids. So from a kid perspective, what do you want parents to know of what it's like to be a kid to go through this, that you would want to share with them? Of like, yeah, go ahead, Summer.
I would say, like, always to check up on them, because you may not think that they're like sad about it or something, but I know that it affects both of us every day, but we just don't show it because we have a lot of stuff. Like, we are just go. Like, we have a lot of stuff to do. And me and you guys, we grieve differently because you've never lost a sibling before, but I've never lost a kid before. But that doesn't mean that, like, your grief is greater than ours or our grief is greater than yours. It's equal, but it's just different for each of us. And yeah, that's all I would really say is like, make sure you're checking up on them too. Because even though they might not show that, they're like,
what if you check on them and they say that they're fine and don't want to talk about it? Do you think parents should keep asking, or they should just kind of let it go?
Kind of depends, because
It
like
depends if you see like something, their character obviously their character is going to change, but like if you know like when to be going down a wrong path. But like for me going to like a counselor, like it's easier to have that because it's just someone there to listen, and sometimes that's all you need. I think I told you that last night. Like sometimes all you need is just someone to listen to you and not like try to give you feedback. And I mean, she does, but like she just needs someone to like listen and not.
Would you say, Chase, that's where our relationship's so healthy, is that I don't give you a lot of feedback. I just listen.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, I was going to mention that right after I got to that topic. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
go ahead, Summer.
I would say that like sometimes I don't want to talk about it, but it's still nice that like people are still like wondering about you and you don't feel like you've been like forgotten.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I do feel like that all the attention goes to the parents, which
It's true.
yeah.
True.
Like I
Good
feel
things
like
get forgotten about.
today, mom still gets sent stuff literally like all the time. And which I don't want, I'm not asking, like I don't want stuff to get sent to me. But like I guarantee there's people texting you all the time, how are you doing? Like blah blah blah. And I think probably after a month people stop texting us or like stop asking.
I feel like it's also different for mom too, is because she has this podcast and she like vocalizes it when we don't
I think
vocalize it, because for like us, if I did vocal, like I don't, it kind of looks like kids my age or kids our age are like harsh, like they don't really care. And for us, I feel like if we did vocalize it, it would put a different look on us that we really don't want.
It is. That is interesting. That is interesting because I've picked up on that somewhat too, just in conversations with you guys around like, well, no, I don't want to say that my sister died because I don't want that like attention on me. But it's really the reverse in that I totally get that. But I do have people reach out to me often to say, how are you doing? And they will ask like, how are the kids doing? But I totally get that kids don't get that reach out. There's a whole thing about how siblings almost get forgotten about. So that's a great point to share with just even listeners that maybe haven't lost a child, but know of another family, is like check in on the kids just to say, hey, how are you doing? Something like that just makes you feel like, oh, people remember that I've been going through something hard.
Yeah. And I would also say like, I feel like especially if you're kids and you see your parents go through something like that, you never want to like speak up or like talk if like something's like hurting you, if like that's affecting you and stuff, because you don't want to make like their day worse. Like if they're already having like struggling with it that day, like you don't want to make it worse. So like why would you like even say or like speak up about it?
Yeah. I remember.
Go ahead.
I remember the big thing was like after Hallie passed away was that like I feel like I worried too much about my parents instead of like focusing on myself, and kind of like you kind of like still get that like it kind of like still like comes back on me sometimes. But for a while I was like worried about you guys, and I forgot to worry about myself. And I feel like that's the big thing is like I feel like if I speak up about it, then I know how you are and you care for us a lot. So like if I spoke up about it, then I'm getting the attention I didn't want.
Yeah, that's true. Like you want to speak out about it, but you also don't want all of the attention to be on you. Also, I will say like, I remember when it happened, I was going into my freshman year and people were telling me that someone said I've used it for attention. Like I use it for attention, which like you can hardly get me to like post about it because that's like the opposite. Like I don't want to do that. And it also made me like angry because I'm like, who are you to like have an opinion about this when this is never like you've never experienced anything hard in your life? Like nothing has ever happened to you like this. So how are you supposed to have an opinion about it?
Yeah. Here's what I would say back to your earlier point, Summer, around, and Chase, you too, around like I don't want to add more to your problems. So another example very similar to that people sometimes are hesitant to reach out because then they feel like they're going to upset you or that they're going to remind you of what happened. And my response to that is you should always reach out because I will never forget and you're not going to add to my pain. So I would tell you guys the same thing. It would break my heart more to know you were holding back something that was bothering you because you didn't want to add. And like I've shared before, we've had our worst day. So I would encourage you guys, but also any parent that's listening or kids that maybe listen is like, never hold back if something's bothering you or struggling and be afraid that you're going to add to someone else's problems because they do want to hear from you. You're not going to make it worse. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I also feel like it's nice that, like, if you do something like this, like, get your kids into therapy so they have, that's probably, like, the biggest blessing. Like, we did not want to go at first.
No.
But that's probably, like, the biggest
Well,
blessing.
now I look forward to it.
Yeah. And it's, like, nice to be able to, like, put that all on her and not, I don't know if I'm supposed to say her name, but put that all on her.
We don't say her name because we don't want people to steal her.
Yeah.
We talk about our counselor, but we don't say her name because she's busy enough as it is.
Yeah. So I like, it's nice to be able to like take all that off my chest and put it on her. So I'm not like, so I don't like, even though it may not like make you feel worse, then that way I don't feel like it's making you feel worse.
That's a great point.
This is like another point, but this is kind of not really on topic, but I'll say anyways. Like, I feel like the term is it only can get better. It's kind of like not a lie, but it's kind of like a bluff because like when something like, well, in this case, like something like this happens, like it's just another day without her. I feel like people forget that. It's like, it's not like we're like healing. Like we are, but like in a different way. Like, it's not like a heal. Like, it's just, we're going another day without like me and Summer's like best friend and sister. Like, it's just like, it's another day without her that we don't have. And it's not like it's only getting better. Like, we're getting better, but we're still not healing from that damage that was made that day.
You're figuring out how to carry it.
Yeah,
carry that
like,
sadness.
we're coping with it, but we're not healing.
Yeah.
From it.
I don't think you ever heal from it. I really don't.
We're figuring out ways to cope with it, but
Yeah.
we're not figuring out ways to heal from it. But I
Here's-
don't think there is a way to heal from it.
Here's a great question that you're going to love. I know you are, because especially you, Chase. What has been a sign that you believe to be real, that you've really felt like Hallie was near when it happened?
So hang on real quick though. I feel like we have had a ton of signs, but the kids now, you know how kids always make fun of their parents. Now it's like, oh, that's a sign. Oh, that's a sign.
Any little thing.
Now they make fun of it. But I am curious because I know that there has been signs where you guys have felt like, oh God, like this is real. So maybe what's one particular for each one of you that you felt like was solid?
I would say, was it the night she passed away or the night after?
With the lights in here?
Yeah.
That was the night that she passed away.
Yeah.
And
So
we
the
came
night
home.
she passed away, you guys probably already talked about this, but the light, we've never had problems with that light in there. And the lights like started flickering in the office. Just like, how many of them was it? Like,
Well, we have
7.
7. And so, which,
They
you
were-
know,
There's
Seven
6.
lights at the sign.
No,
Seven
no,
I'm
lights
sorry,
at
that's
the
not
sign.
true. That's not true. There's 6 lights. We had 6 kids. Well,
Oh.
one started flickering.
yeah.
But
One of the lights started flickering, and Eric like videoed it and posted it on Facebook. And someone like did a Morse code on it, and it said like "I love you" or something.
Mhm.
And I like, you can't make that shit up.
No.
That crap up. This is family friendly, Summer.
And but I also say another thing that I thought was cool is when you talk to that like medium, and they like knew stuff that like that's just weird. And they said that like my sister like plays with my hair when I'm sleeping, and that's probably why it looks like shit in the morning. So
She messed it up. That would be something she would do.
yeah.
I would say my thing I believe the most, or like favorite one, it happened recently. We were recently going on our farm, and we had to drop some deer meat off at a different farm, and we were heading down to ours. And our dog, Hallie's old dog, or Hallie's dog that she had, and it was our family dog, but it was pretty much Hallie's dog. And she was getting older. She's 15. Me and Summer have had her since we were 1. And she's like, rough time, and we're going to have to put her down soon. And we knew that. And so we're heading down the farm, and we're Hallie took graduate or senior pictures down at our farm too. And that's where me and Hallie hunted this farm. And we were going down there, we pull in, and to the left of the driveway is where there's a creek that runs along there. And right down that creek is where Hallie took some of her senior pictures. And right down that creek, we saw 4 deer, and that's exactly where Hallie took her senior pictures. And we have never seen deer there. My dad has never seen deer there as long as they've had the farm. And my dad's had that farm his whole life, and they've never seen deer right there. And so we get in the Ranger, and we just make a little drive around and check everything. And later on, the same field where me and Hallie hunted last time, and where her favorite place was on the farm, which is this little creek where there's a big tree that fell over it, and where she used to sit when she had friends down there. There was 3 deer that ran exactly where that tree went. And that was this last field that me and Hallie hunted in too. And like that adds up to 7 if some people don't know how to do math. It was kind of like, I don't know, like a rough time with Hallie's dog, Piper. Hadn't put her down. Like it was just kind of like a good reminder. And I feel like that's like the one I've seen that like most impacted me was like.
Also, Chase, that morning of your little road trip, I had gotten on Hallie's phone. I still get on her phone every once in a while, and I look at her memories for that day. And on that day, there was a picture of her and Piper in your Uncle Jack's vehicle that your dad loved.
Yeah, it's an old Tahoe.
I sent it to him that morning, and then all of that happened. I mean,
and Dad's never seen that photo ever, nor I don't think you have.
No,
no one's ever.
Because I even asked him like
that day.
What vehicle is she in? Like,
it was Jack's old Tahoe. Dad talks about rebuilding that thing all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a big one, seeing that. Because like, I don't know what it is, but like that, it was just like, that's the one that like stuck out to me the most was that. That's what I'd say.
So we're going to dive into probably maybe an even harder topic, but there is several things that have stood out to me with just how you guys have endured this entire heartbreaking loss. And there's so many aspects of it that I am so proud of how you guys have shown up. I mean, some things that top of mind for me is we lost Hallie that week, and Chase that weekend, you were determined to wrestle. And it was emotional and it was hard, but you fought through it. And for you, Summer, losing your sister, I think the thing that sticks out to me is how you showed up at the trial and how you were scared and wasn't sure if you were going to do it. And then you like locked in, and both of you were bosses on the stand. But I watched you be afraid, and then you found this grit and bravery and showed up and looked him directly in the eye. And seeing your kids fight like that in the most unfortunate, awful scenario just makes me feel so proud. So my question for you, because I don't know, most kids will never experience going through a trial and a sentencing like that. What stood out to you most, or what do you want to share about that experience? It can be anything. But and we didn't make you go. We left it as an option of like, what do you guys want to do? And it's kind of like one of those where you don't really want to go, but then you feel like you should go. And so I'll just pause there, but maybe weigh in on your experience of having to go through something like that.
The thing that like stood out to me the most, and it's not only stood out to me, but kind of just boiled my blood, kind of pissed me off. And it probably pissed Mom off too, because I just know it did. Just know that it would make her mad. Is that his family act like they lost somebody, that they lost our son's different now. Well, you gotta expect that when your son kills somebody, but you didn't lose somebody. Like, he's physically and mentally still there, nor is Hallie physically or mentally still here. And we don't have any, well, we have recollection of her, but we don't have any, besides her clothes, we don't have any physical appearance of her in person, can't call and hear her voice, like none of that stuff. And they still have that. And the thing, they might have their son might have changed, but he's still there and still alive and still can talk to them. But we don't have that anymore, and nor do you guys. But me and Summer, I feel like we had a different relationship. you guys were like her parents, but I feel like I talked to her on a daily basis all the time. Like, that was someone we could go to talk to. She more went to you guys to talk to, like, not putting you guys like below or anything like that, but she went to you guys like for like advice. But we just like we more had like a best friend like relationship.
Yeah.
Another thing that recently happened, this isn't like court, but it's kind of his family, and it's just needs to be said. My dad goes this cookout thing every year, and it's a grill. They grill food every year, a bunch of food, and they like people come there and buy it. And this guy, the messenger, came and walked to my dad and said his grandpa wants to talk to my dad and has a few words to say to my dad, because my dad's the only one that's ever understood their point of view and or like understood, like talk to my dad or talk to them, his grandpa. And my dad's like, no, like that's not going to change anything, and nothing you say I want to hear. Your family not only stared down my mom in court for no reason, stared at my mom for losing her daughter to their idiotic grandson, and no, there's nothing you say are going to change anything. And yeah, my dad might talk to their grandpa beforehand, but
Before this all happened,
happened, yeah, before his grandson killed our sister. But now that's completely different. You're on completely different grounds. No, I don't know like what place he thought he was in, but his family thinks they're no wrong. I feel like that needs to be heard, because even though like they think we just lost somebody, but we also got backlash for it. It wasn't like we just lost somebody, but we got backlash from their family for it when it wasn't any of our faults. Mm-hmm. And I think mom can definitely comment on that, because I mean, she got it the most, I would say.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, I'm a fighter. That's all I will say, especially when it comes to my kids. So bring it.
I would say what stood out the most to me was that going through the trial and stuff, it's long. Like, it's a long process. And it's also very like stressful. Like, I think I left every time with a headache. Mm-hmm. And I will also say what stood out to me the most is I will never understand. I know it's our court system, but I will never understand how someone can be drinking and driving and hit somebody, not even kill them, and go to jail. And then someone can shoot someone and kill them.
It's hard to even say, isn't it?
And kill them, and they don't get nothing. But they're both accidents, right? So, like, how do you, like, like, how is that fair? Like, I will never understand that.
I would say that that's a justice system flaw. I would agree that is a justice system flaw.
I know, and I know that, but, like, I still won't understand that.
No, I agree with you. I agree.
On that sort of topic, I think I've shared this with mom. I know I've shared this with dad before, but, like, the thing we're supposed to do as, like, Christians is we're supposed to, like, forgive. Mm-hmm. And that's, like, what Jesus tells us and teaches us is forgive. And that's ultimately to get past it, you can't just live your every day in hate. Like, it's just not how human beings are supposed to. Like, we're supposed to forgive him. We're supposed to forgive, like, other sins. Like, that's just what we're supposed to do as people of God, like Christians. And I think that's, at some point, everyone's going to have to do, because you can't live your life hating somebody. Like, it's just not human. Yeah. And I genuinely want to forgive him, but it's just like, I don't hate him. I hate what he did. I feel like that's a good way to put it. Mm-hmm. And, like, I honestly, I didn't mind him. I didn't like the way he treated my sister, but I didn't mind him as a human. I just, the thing I would just put it as is I just hate what he did, but I genuinely don't hate him, because if we're supposed to actually follow God, we can't live our life hating him.
Forgiveness is more about you and letting go of that. It's never going to be saying that what happened was ever okay.
It was never just. It's never going to be.
No.
I'm reading a book right now that I really like called The Power of One More. And I read something just today that really made me think of our family, is that he talked about how too many times people get stuck living in the past because we have these bad things happen to us and we get stuck in the past. When you do that, you can no longer reach your goals and dreams, because you don't aim for goals and dreams. And it's like you have this cup of water, and if the water is full of your past, there's no room for new fun adventures and goals and dreams to fit in that cup of water. because you're just always focused on the bad things from the past. And I thought that was, for us, we lived a lot of really hard, bad things. And at some point you have to make room in the cup so that you can have new adventures, new dreams and things like that, just to piggyback off what you were kind of saying there, Chase.
Yeah.
We're going to say something, Summer.
I have a different sign that's way better.
Okay, let's hear it. I love it. I love the competition.
I just remembered it. When I had that dream,
oh,
that's the actual like sign, because like
tell us about it.
So I don't remember the exact like whole thing, because again it was a dream, but I remember it. But I know my grandma made me call her and tell her about the dream, but as a voicemail, so that my grandma always had it. So I know my grandma has the video of me the voicemail of me telling her exactly like what happened, because it was like the morning after. But I remember, so I'm gonna try to make this like fast so I can in this dream, everything was how my life is right now. Like Hallie had passed away. Well, she comes back and just like walks in the house. I'm pretty sure. I don't really like remember it 100%, but we were in Florida and she like came. Oh no, we were golf cart shopping, because I remember our golf cart has had multiple issues. We were golf cart shopping, and bro just spawns next to the golf cart, and she's like, "Guys, can I get on?" And so we're like, "Oh my god!" And so then she gets on, and we bring her home, and mom's there. It was like this whole like big deal, because Ho just came back from the dead. Like she has risen on the third day. And so then I remember we were in Florida for like the whole time. She just like hung out with us like it was normal. Like it was like normal. And then somehow we came back to this house here. And I remember waking up the next morning, like I'm still in the dream. Waking up the next morning thinking that I was out of the dream, and like walking out in the kitchen to make sure, like to see if she was there. And she was just sitting eating cereal, because that's what she ate. And she was just sitting, and I was like, oh, so then I remember I went back to, like, we hang out like all day, like it's normal, like, and I go back to sleep. Like this dream's over the span of like 3 days. Like this is like a 3-day dream. I go back to sleep, and I'm going back to sleep, and I wake up the next morning, and I have like a Snapchat from her. Well, I look at the Snapchat, I open the Snapchat, because like I don't know, we didn't like Snapchat that much, like we did sometimes, but like we mainly like texted. And I thought it was weird that I had a Snapchat from her, because like everything like that I feel now is how I felt in the dream. So she sent me a Snapchat, and I open it, and it's like a picture of an angel that she took from like heaven or something. Like it was a picture of an angel, and she like, I saved it in chat, and I screenshot it, because I've had multiple dreams about her, and in every dream I would try to screenshot something, because I would try to make it to go in my camera roll, because I knew I would wake up the next morning. Mm-hmm. So I like screenshotted it, and she like texted me, because like it gives you a notification when you screenshot it. And she like texted me, and she's like, "I'm always watching over you." And then I woke up, like actually woke up, and I thought I couldn't believe it. I went in my phone and went in my camera roll to see if that picture was screenshot of my camera roll, because I just like still thought I was in the dream. Like, I don't know. It was so like shocking and like weird. And then I like came to and like realized that it was like a dream. But it was like really nice to like, I haven't had a dream in a long time, but when I like see her again, it's like really nice, because it's just like over time you don't forget what she looks like, but like because you have videos and stuff, but you like forget what it
feels like
to see her, like feels like to see her in person, or her to be walking around the house. But
and prior to that dream, Summer, you were very frustrated because other people had dreams, and you were like, why have I not had a dream? Yeah. And then you had this long dream where she hung out with you and spent the most time with you. Were you going to say something, Chase?
Yeah. So like, this is kind of like going back now, like touch back to what I said. And I tried to find this quote, but I think I found it. So my religion teacher, our old religion teacher I had last semester, I didn't always love having her, but there was one quote she showed me that I found like the most I could take away from that class. And like to go back to like how to forgive him, like what he did. One of the main things we get taught as like a Christian or someone that follows God is like to love your enemies. And this is the one quote I took away from like the whole class I had the whole semester. And it's Luke 6:27. It says, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who abuse you. And I think that's like one thing, like we can get a lot from that, but like the big thing I get from that, I mean, you could get not consider what he did to abuse, but like kind of cursed us in some way. Like now we have to like carry on this curse, you could say, like for the rest of our life.
Yeah.
We can't hate him for that. I mean, we can, but we can hate that he did that. But I didn't want to be taught the lessons I got taught by losing my sister, but we got taught a lot of valuable lessons, and we need to live with the rest of our life. We need to forgive him so we can lose that, like, not sorrow, but
that weight,
burden, or
yeah, definitely.
Also, can we take a moment to appreciate how cute this note is? I miss you, AP.
She left that for me once.
Girl, I wrote that probably 2 years ago, and he's kept that on his, because I don't leave him very many notes.
He doesn't. It's like I said at the start of this, you guys are up here, and then I'm way down.
Summer got a note this morning, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
What'd you say?
We got a long note this morning from you in the car.
Don't tell Eric
Wait,
that.
What?
Was that was,
I was like, "How was your drive?" Oh, I was on the phone the whole time. I didn't have any time for anything.
No, I left them a handwritten.
Oh, I didn't get that either. So,
all in all, in conclusion, like,
Yeah, what do you want to summarize?
I will say that I think for all of us, some days are harder than others. Like some days it just hits different some days.
Mhm.
And like when it does hit different, it hits different. Like it will ruin your whole day.
Yeah.
But just check up on your friends, check up on your family, no matter if they've lost somebody or not. Because everybody's going through their own struggles. And bless up and be more like Jesus. Amen.
Love it. Love it.
All in all, in conclusion, I think like the big thing as a listener you could probably take away from this, or a watcher or creeper or stalker or whatever you are.
that's what it's like with the twins.
Yep.
Hopefully something different. I would say you could take away from this as a listener that you just need to, if you follow God and forgive your enemies, life will find its path. Even though you don't like what he throws at you, you could still live your life in full, because if you truly are a follower of him, you trust what he does.
That's good
Yep.
16-year-old wisdom right there.
Yeah.
The kids are starting to hit each other, so it means it's about time to wrap.
I'm tired.
We do. Summer's tired. She got stuff to do. All right, let's end with one thing that we're each grateful for, because your mom and I end every podcast that way.
Or first off, if you're a listener and you want to give feedback, you can tell me how good my hair looks.
Okay.
I will
What are
say
we grateful for?
And I did bench 225 for 3 yesterday, just in case anybody was wondering.
no one cares. I will say that I'm always grateful for my mom, so I can't really say that. But
I'm sure mom would appreciate it if you did. But.
no, she knows I am. But I will say that I'm grateful for Chase because I know.
Whoa. It's a big step there.
I feel like we haven't like fought in a while, and I feel like we're growing to become more of like friends. I feel. Would you agree?
Oh,
we haven't.
boy.
Yeah.
We haven't fought.
I agree, but now you just knock on wood that.
And I just like it's just nice to have, because I've lost one of my siblings, so I feel like I just need him.
It's just nice to have a handsome, amazing, old
and
twin.
since he's
Bonus dad. Yes. That's
Especially
where he
since
was
he's
going
our
with that.
friend.
Yeah.
like it's nice to like have him, because he's just like really funny and stuff. And I'm never saying anything like this again, so take it like really be appreciative.
Well, I'm glad it's on video.
All right, Chase, what about you?
The one thing I'm grateful for is, I don't say enough, but I am grateful for my mom. She's always there. Like, even though I'm not always in the best mood, or I'm grateful for my mom, is that's the thing I'm grateful for the most. Because like, even though like I might throw a lot of shit down on her or crap down on her, like I still always like grateful for the company. Like, not a lot of people have their moms or like have moms like mine, and I'm just grateful to have one like mine.
Thank you.
Even though I'm not always the most appreciated.
I already know what Angie's going to say she's grateful for now. So, I mean,
here, Mom.
Well, yeah, I think my thing, I will just say what I'm grateful for is time. So, time with the people that matter, because as we all know, we've been talking about this for 2 years. No one's promised tomorrow. So, the thing I've learned the most is just around spending time. And I know I squeeze you little baby birds too tight sometimes, because I want all the time with you that I can get, because I know it's limited. That's my flaw. But why
Yeah.
wouldn't I want time with you guys? You're funny. You're great to be around most of the time.
Strong, athletic.
Yeah.
Gotta be the richest kid in the family.
So
That's
time with our family.
True.
That's my
So true.
that's what I'm grateful for.
I will
Not
also
always.
to add on to Chase's, I will say that
God.
mom is like, she's like the perfect mother. Like she's like
Oh,
the perfect
God.
mom.
Oh,
What
it's
do you
not in
guys
this
want?
podcast.
Just because we're going out of town and they want more time to
Yeah.
run.
No, I will say that she's like the perfect mom. Like I feel like she's not like too strict, but she doesn't just let us like run wild. And she is my little bestie. And there's something else. What?
The crumble's already at the door, sister. So
Yes,
I don't
come
know.
on.
And
Yeah,
actually,
Crumbles.
okay, Crumble arrived tonight, but I had it scheduled for tomorrow night with Grandma and Grandpa. So I don't know what happened.
Okay, it's
Don't
fine.
eat them until tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I always like think about like how like lucky I am to have you as a mom, because when I am older and I have kids and I'm a mom, I want to be just like you, so my kids turn out like us.
I just want to be like a raging alcoholic and never come home.
But like,
And it's about time to wrap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I'm kidding, guys. I'm going to take all my family's money and put it on red.
What is red?
it's craps. Yeah.
Oh, like gambling.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Come on, Mom. No,
Sorry.
get with it.
All right. I would just say I am grateful to be in the three of your lives. That's Chase. And I'm grateful to have known your sister. I've always said that I say this, your mom knows this. I don't know that I've said it to you guys. I've said it to our counselor, but I'm 44 years old. And the three greatest years of my life have always been those 3 years that the 8 of us were together as a family, with my 3 kids and your mom and you 3 kids. Those are the 3 greatest years I've ever had out of 44 years. And so
Even that one wiffle ball game we played in the backyard at Mom's old house.
I do remember that game. Yeah,
Neville?
I do. But those are my favorite years. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful you guys came on today. We didn't know if this was going to happen or not. And
Totes grateful.
Summer's
Touche,
giving us
dude.
the wrap. She's giving us the finger that it's time to wrap. And it is, we're longer than we promised. So twins, we thank you. And for all of you that are listening, we really appreciate you.
And in case anybody's wondering, we are signing a contract after this for 10% equity.
There you go. Everyone have a wonderful week and God bless.
amen, brother. See ya.
Thank you for listening to Blended Blessed and Always a Mess. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and at blendedblessedalwaysamess.com.
Reach out to us on any of our social channels. We would love to hear from you. Have a great week.